wish you the best in the future, and so thankful for the decades of service that you've provided, and so thankful just to represent the folks that I do, that you've just been a tremendous blessing to. So many callers, so many constituents, so many questions, that you've been a problem solver, and for that I'm very, very grateful. So this will be one of our last times that we talk about IRS IT systems, and I'm grateful, and you're in a vantage point that really nobody else is in. So I just want to talk briefly about where we are with this IT system problem, how we got there, and just would love to hear your vantage point and what we need to do. And I look forward to working with the committee on making sure that we have bipartisan solutions. The modernization effort of IRS's IT was one of our top priorities during the last Congress. Over the last 2 years, we've held a number of hearings and briefings with countless experts in an effort to better understand the challenges and shortcomings in the area with the IRS. What we found out was really no surprise to anybody. The IRS continues to struggle with everything from undertaking and completing larger IT modernization efforts to even the simplest of IT replacements. These issues result in millions of dollars of taxpayer wasted or spent maintaining systems that are no longer useful to the IRS or to taxpayers. So while the IRS faces a number of hurdles as it continues to modernize itself, we found that many are not solely the result of budget limitations. Instead, they're often the result of management failures, poor decision-making, or the IRS must demonstrate that it's capable of managing its budget by better prioritizing of its IT investments, providing more transparent reporting to Congress, and ceasing to undertake failed procurements that result in millions of dollars being spent or wasted. For this reason, I still strongly believe that we need to ensure that the IRS is effectively and efficiently spending the IT funds they already have before giving them any additional funding. I introduced H.R. 5362, the IRS Information Technology Accountability Act, during the last Congress, and I was happy to see it included in the Taxpayer First Act. My bill would have taken some important steps to prevent future IT boondoggles and instill accountability. Unfortunately, as you know, we couldn't reach a final agreement on IRS reform before the end of Congress, but I do hope we are able to, and I continue to want to work with my coworkers to do that. So you know the IRS's antiquated IT systems have real impacts on taxpayers. So from your perspective, as you look at these real impacts that it does have on taxpayers in your position, what are the types of challenges that you're hearing about directly from taxpayers that are a result of this issue with the IRS and IT?
Well, you know, the word accountability is incredibly important to me, and I applaud the work that you're trying to do. My number one legislative recommendation this year was both, yes, to give the IRS a dedicated funding stream for the big leap of replacing our core our core systems that are the official record of taxpayer counts, so that they are 21st century technology as opposed to 1960s technology. But that is a huge leap, and you can't give them a blank check, that there has to be oversight and independent assessments every step along the way. You know, third-party assessments saying, is their plan right? Is it too ambitious? Are they really telling you what they can do or can't do? Are they being honest about the challenges? Not, whitewashing them? And then every year, before any more money comes to them, there is that update. From a taxpayer perspective, the fact that we have this 1960s technology and 60 case management systems that hold information about the taxpayer, and there is no one 360 view of the taxpayer, means that if somebody calls up on the phones, it may be that that employee cannot see the information in the system. Something as simple as the taxpayer saying, I made a payment last week, but it hasn't gone through our weekly cycle update to get into the system that this employee can see. We can't tell them whether that payment's been made. So things like that. We want to do online services and create a robust online account, which may pull people off the phones, help us in that area. But if you have to pull data from 60 different case management systems to create a robust online account, you're doing custom programming to each and every single one of them, and you're spending operations and maintenance money every single day to keep those systems up to date. If somebody doesn't upgrade, you've got to reprogram again. And that goes into this sinkhole. And, that's why I've really focused on, yes, there are things we need to do around the margins, but individual master file and business master file, those core systems, and a 360-degree database of taxpayer information is core. And I don't know what it's going to take to do that, but it needs, as you said, accountability, transparency, and I do think it needs more money. The last thing I'll say is what really got the IRS into trouble back in the 90s that led to the Restructuring Act of 1998 in part was the failure to really monitor in the procurement area its prime contractors, so that there were huge cost overruns and change orders and things like that, and no one was really minding the store. So you have to have really talented procurement people monitoring these contracts. So that's another transparency and accountability.
Absolutely. Thanks and congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
The chair is now pleased to recognize the gentle lady from the state of Washington for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.